Mm. So a few points that we have been through in the last 2 days. First one is that the mind is a momentary awareness. Yeah, that is the uh, factor. Then mental factor shape our everyday experience because of the mental factors. Then the experience is shaped by those mental factors, and because it's shaped through that mental factors, then we need to realize that suffering does not come from external, right? There's no external. We do label it external, we do blame it on the external part. These things do happen, but in nature, that the external conditions, or the external what we say world, or the external whatever is in external from the objective side, it does not come from the objective side. There is no when you go and search for it, there's no integration of the external side being the problem. Just like we discussed yesterday, the external side keeps on changing, whether the fact that our internal way of looking at things is one aspect, or whether it's not, then the external part only changes based on that. So therefore, um, mm, then the whole approach towards the external side that we normally see, that we think, oh, changing external, definitely there is conditioning, but then pinpointing it down to the external aspect is not the case, right? The case, the main afflicted mental factors is the main part where the suffering, or where the initiation of the experience of suffering comes. Then of course liberation comes from recognition, and therefore recognition, there is space needed in order to recognize. Without space, then the recognition does not come. Without the kindness, and the love that is required, then the recognition does not come. Without the application of true deep understanding of yourself, then the recognition does not come. uh, uh, that definitely is there. Then through that, then comes the utilization of the three aspects, where is normally we go from one extreme to another. Yeah, so if there is extreme pain, then we expect that extreme joy. This is where the liberation is. We look for the extreme joy. We never think about the stabilizing method, right? So within any aspect, is, I think, the method works on basis of the stabilization. Without the stabilization, then we jump from one extreme to another extreme to another extreme, then that is again causes the same chaos to appear over and over again. So transformation is called transformation because you are transferring from one aspect to a more likely aspect. So the change happens very gradually, rather than extreme changes. Also, that again, another thing to be aware of, that the extreme changes is not what we are looking for. We are looking for the stabilization of it. So when there is pain, when there's anger, when there's hatred, it's not about developing complete love and complete letting go and complete selflessness. It's about bringing the pain, understanding the pain, and utilizing the means of logic, utilizing the means of reality, in order to bring down the pain step by step, rather than expecting great joy and focusing on the great joy. Because uh, when you focus on the great joy without stabilizing the pain, then then again you are going from one extreme to another, which cannot happen like this, right? It takes the part of liberation takes time in order to integrate. Integration, when you are not used to great joy, then again that great joy itself can, you can perceive that itself as pain again. So then seems like the pain sort of like doesn't disappear. So that is there. So in regards to that, then it's transformation, and the transformation happens from great pain to little less, then groundedness. That's where we want to reach, and through that groundedness then comes building of the joy. Without the groundedness, then the building of the joy during the pain, that is uh, sort of like I said, doesn't make sense, illogical, it cannot be applied, because you are expecting for two extremes to fight each other at one point, which means that you are expecting your mind to work in a way that it is not used to, or is not comfortable with. You cannot be comfortable with that as well. So therefore, when it comes to stabilization, in regards to what we have gone through, then the main point here is, sorry. So when it comes to that, then the main point is reaching the stabilization at the moment, and through that stabilization then comes the development, right? So transformation happens in that way. uh, uh, the important aspect of the transformation, I think, happens in that way. So I think this is the general perception of how to utilize. So when it comes to the mind, working with the mind, utilizing the mind, all of these takes a lot of understanding of the mind. Yeah, without understanding of the mind, then the utilization also a little bit hard. So first thing, general concept of understanding the mind is that the mind needs peace, the mind needs quiet, yeah, the mind needs the necessary level of no extremism, whether it be good or whether it be bad. You understand that even in the good extremes there is a little bit of dysfunction when it comes to the mind. So it's not aiming for the extremes, it's not aiming to go beyond what we say, beyond the stabilized part. It's reaching the stabilized part. I think that's where it starts from, because whether our experiences is defined good or whether our experiences is defined bad is based on the very casual understanding of the stabilized part. Yeah, so you look at your mind, at one point the mind needs a lot of care, a lot of love, a lot of nurturing, a lot of all of that, and that cannot happen without the willingness to do it. Yeah, without the genuine sincere unconditionality of the expression of wanting, the mind itself will not, you telling the mind you need to change, you need to do this, you need to concentrate here, you need to focus here, why would the mind want to do that? The only reason a person will listen to you is when you trust the person fully. Yeah, when there's a person there who you trust, who you have been with, who you understand, who has given you love, who has given you care, who has what we say, who has um, you know given the understanding part, that's when you tend to start to listen to that person as well. So the same thing happens internally as well. Internally, when you are not the person which the mind is relying on to calm down, when you're not the person where the mind is relying on based on the comfort that you are giving it, or the patience that you are applying, then why would the mind listen to you? Then constantly external search, external search, external search. So there, I think it's important to understand that the mind only works when you are giving it the right way to work. It's not that you are telling the mind to work, but the mind willing to work naturally, I think, on its own level. And this is the beauty of the mind. The mind, once it's comfortable, it does work. And this happens, right? This happens in many variable situations. When you are at the right place with the right comfort, with nice people, then the mind naturally relaxes. You don't have to tell the mind to relax. When you're in a chaotic place, when there is so much going on and this and that, then the mind does not relax, even when you are there and when people are there telling it to relax. So that is, I think, engraved within the mind itself, that the ability is there. When the mind is comfortable, then it relaxes. It's very natural. So now our focus is how to comfort the mind. Then generally we think comforting the mind is boosting the ego, giving it what it wants. It wants plate, it gives plate. If it wants gold, it gives gold. If you want money, give money. Then the mind feels like, oh, but then it's similar to what we call pampering a child. You're not nurturing the child, you're pampering the child. No, so exact same method happens here as well. And this is how we understand the mind. We think, oh, my mind wants good clothes, my mind wants money, my mind wants this, so if I give it, then it will relax. But the more you give it in regards to the grasping attitude, the more grasping it develops, and the more grasping it develops, the more desire it develops, and therefore then the same situation starts to tend to happen. So the level of dealing with the mind is actually understanding the mind, that you cannot pamper it. Neither can you pamper it, nor can you order it. So how do you work with it? You work with it by understanding it. You work with it by applying patience. You work with it by applying your wisdom. You work with it by applying the methods that are necessary in order to, make it trust you. We normally say, no, if you have a partner that is, what do we say, that is problematic, you have problem with your partner, then the house that your partner is also now not the comfort place where you can relax. So you go to work, you work, then all the things, you have all these things, then you come back at home, then when you reach the door, you go, now I need to deal with another thing. Instead of saying, oh, open the door, finally I'm home, I'm relaxed. That does not happen. So the same thing within the mind as well, right? When the mind knows that you are someone who really take care of it, like I said, these are very important qualities that you need to develop in regards to taking care of yourself. Genuinity, sincerity, unconditionality. You have to be genuine with yourself. You have to be sincere with yourself. Or the others, that is different thing. Yeah? Whether you want to be sincere, unconditional with others or not, that one is a whole different thing. But when it comes to your mind, then there's no gaining, there's no losing, there's no fighting, you cannot put that into the picture, because the mind does not understand that, right? It really does not understand that. It gets influenced very easily by external things, and because it gets very easily influenced by external things, it knows that it cannot depend, but the influence is there, therefore the dependence also seems to be there. So, oh yeah, I went to this place and I did this, and wow, it really changed me, and it really, whether that is the mind seeing or whether that is reality, that's two different things. Like I said, you go to that place, you have an experience and that and this, but then the moment you get back to your normal world, what happens? Does that experience continue? No. Do you expect that experience to continue? Yes. But does it? It doesn't. And the reason is because the comfort is not there. I always say, there's a huge difference between a genuine smile and a forced smile. You go to, I don't know, what,
Shop.
fancy.
Fancy?
Yeah, fancy.
Restaurant?
Shop.
Shop, okay.
Yeah, you go to like a expensive, what do you call that?
I don't know, Gucci?
Gucci?
I don't know.
Gucci? What's
Sorry,
Gucci?
it's really not my thing.
Gucci is what?
Somebody help me, please. Fancy brand.
So, okay, Gucci. Yeah, Gucci. So you go to a Gucci store, then yeah, you have someone, what do you say? Inviting you inside, smile. Yeah, then you, after you buy, then after the payment done, then finish. The smile disappear because now the transaction finish. You see that, no? So generally when you meet people, this one, I think this one, it's like our sixth sense sort of thing. When someone is genuine, you can feel it. You can actually feel it. There is that that connection, that is there. When someone is not genuine, you can actually feel it also. That connect, yeah, you act as you need to act, like you go to a business meeting or something like that. There's competition, to everyone inside there competing with each other, but then when the expression outside is big smile, greeting, that, this, but inside is all competing, no? So that one definitely, even in our external world, we can feel it. So internal ourselves, then that one, our mind can tell, no matter how many times you try to hide it, no matter how many times you try to play around the, what do we say, play, we call manipulating ourselves in some sense, yeah, playing around the bushes. Oh, if I do this, then I'll be happy. If I do this, I'll be happy. The mind already knows. When the genuinity not there, the mind knows already. Then expression also doesn't matter. Then impression also doesn't matter. Then, like I said, pampering also doesn't matter. Yeah, the mind, exactly like I explained, exactly like a child. You pamper, doesn't matter. You say, I give you $1,000. I don't care. The child doesn't care about 1,000. Doesn't know the value of $1,000. So you're working with innocence there. This is very clear. The mind is very innocent. Even though there is manipulation, internal manipulation, external manipulation there, the mind itself is very innocent. So you're working on that innocence level. And when you're working on that innocence level, this is very important, that you are able to apply genuine, sincere unconditionality. And so that part, I think, one of the most extreme aspects of dealing with yourself. I always say, who are you kidding? You know that expression, who are you kidding? So when it comes to yourself, then it's, who are you kidding? External, you can manipulate, you can, what we say, you can scam, you can do this, you can all of the other methods you can utilize. But inside, who are you kidding? There's no way around it. Unless you learn to cradle, you learn to care, truly care. Not pamper, okay, not pampering care. Like I said, you can learn to pamper care a child, but then the child going to turn out good out of that pampering care, that is not necessary as well. Like I said, genuine, sincere, even if the father or the mother is very harsh, very strict, when you start to see the real love, care, genuine, sincere unconditionality in the care, then the child develops. Even if the expression of the love is not there, the understanding of internal love still remains there. So that, I think, is a very important aspect of developing, working with our mind, especially at the stages where the mind is totally over, And then, like I said, unless you are applying this, then coming down to the place where there is in the middle place, where the mind is ready to, okay, now I'm ready to listen to you. Now I'm ready to work with the things you tell me to work with. That one you need to reach. If you haven't reached there and you tell the mind, do this, do that, the mind not going to listen. Making sense? Yeah. So reaching that point is critical at the level where you are, where the mind trusts you. And I know it seems a little bit confusing because I'm saying the mind and then the use, separate. But you look at it, like I said, you look at it. If you think about awareness of awareness, and this one you can do yourself in practice. You sit down, you close your eyes, you look at your mind, you start to think about the level of awareness that your mind has. You can actually see that you are looking at the mind from, like, it's like looking at the mind functioning from an outside thing. It's quite confusing, like I say, like dream inside a dream sort of thing. But in reality, you can do that. This is not something that is, how do we do it? Doesn't make sense. It's not like that. Experientially, you go to your room, you sit down, quiet place, you close your mind. Then first you let the mind go where it wants to go. Yeah, it's experiencing body, experiencing pain, it's experiencing lightness, yeah, it's experiencing quietness. But then you look at your mind, oh, my mind is going here. Now it's thinking about the sound. Now it's going here, it's thinking about the body. You can actually look at this. This is awareness of awareness, I say. Utilize this awareness of awareness in order to understand the mind on a different level in some sense. Then creating that link between you and the mind through that awareness of awareness, creating this indifferentiation link between you and the mind. I think in practice, reaching at the goal of reaching when it comes to shamatha and vipassana is being able to see that you are completely united with the mind. No need to say the mind is here and the mind is thinking there. It's you who is thinking, you who is believing, you who is seeing. That connection is, I think, the ultimate state of reaching when it comes to vipassana and shamatha. At the moment we say, oh, my mind is feeling this, my mind is feeling that, I'm not feeling it. It seems like complete separation. Why does this separation happen? And your reaction is based on what the mind is reacting towards. This is how we feel. You feel sad? How do you feel? Do you feel like you yourself are sad, or do you feel like your mind is sad, therefore you are reacting out of that sadness? This separation tends to happen. It is there, like I said, conventionally. That separation is there. So now when the separation is there and the unity is not there, like I said, that proves that the mind is not as comfortable with you as it should be. And the reason is because there's no genuinity, there's no sincerity, and there's no unconditional love, care. We can say, yeah, I'm genuine, I'm sincere, I'm unconditional. When I'm pampering a kid, I can say I'm doing this out of love. I really love the child, I can give. But think about it, is it really love? And this is the experience I have with my sister's child. I'm more harsh because I say, okay, like I make time and I say, oh, there's time when it comes, because I don't, I try to not. This my point. My concept is that, okay, if he gets addicted onto the screen, then later on he's going to have a problem, addiction problem, inability to focus, unable to do this, and this I feel like is from my part, I feel like it's genuine, sincere, unconditional care. I'm not expecting him to give me anything out of that, or wanting any. I have nothing to do with any of that. But because my sister's child, then I care and I love, and therefore I need to see that, okay, what are the best measurements that I can utilize in order so that he doesn't go into that. That is there. Whereas my sister and my mother, they have a different expression. Yeah? The kids scream, crying, shouting, then they say, oh, to keep him quiet, we give him the phone. And I'm more harsh. When the child doesn't listen, then I show a harsh expression, I scold, and then I say, okay, if you don't do this, then you're not getting this. There is conditioning in that way. But the whole concept of this, I think, okay, when I'm doing it, I give out of unconditionality. But they are expecting the child to stay quiet, and that's the whole reason. And then they say the whatever the means they're working onto it, because they don't want to deal with it. And likeliness that you should be willing. Real care comes when you're willing to deal with the screaming child. That's a real care. The child crying and screaming, and you are willing to deal with it. You're willing to put up with it. You're willing to see where you can, what is the problem. That is real care. The child is crying and screaming, and then your ear is hurting, then you saying, okay, I'll stop you crying by giving this. This is actually sort of like an excuse, no? Finding a sort of like a what we say, escape route in order to dealing with that, no? Then that route, like I said, never works. Externally it works, but externally also it works until the child has the phone in his hand. It works. The moment the phone is gone, then back to same thing. Then because externally it doesn't work, then internally definitely it doesn't work. That is very clear, I think. But like I said, this is something to contemplate upon from your own experience, from your own way of thinking, from your own views, from your own perspective, from your own analytical application, and from your own senses. You start to contemplate on this, you'll start to see maybe there is something there to really consider when it comes to working with my own mind. Think about it. So on that basis, like I said, the main goal here is not to give it full joy, full freedom, full that, full this. It's about utilizing the means to build trust so that the mind feels comfortable enough to listen to you. Then once it feels comfortable enough, this is where I say the neutral means, no, reaching that point where you are, that is important. Without reaching this point where you are, how are you going to reach up there? Our expectation is from down there reach up there like this, but you need to figure out neutral point. You want to go from here to Kupan, you need to first, your goal should be reaching somewhere in the middle first. And that is, you go through that road, to the middle road, you go through that path. You have to, no matter what, whether you like it, whether you don't like it. And there's this mind, like I said, very, very, very innocent, very fragile. Even though innocent and fragile, potential, limitless potential. This is the beauty of it. It's innocent, it's fragile, but the potential is amazing. And because of these reasons, that's why you need to take good care of it. And the care is not pampering care. Care is genuine, sincere, unconditional care. That's when it starts to trust you, and then it starts to listen to you. Yeah, that's when where the point where I said you don't differentiate between your mind feeling angry and you feeling angry, your mind feeling compassionate and you feeling compassionate. It's not. It comes to a point where there's no differentiation there. And then once you reach there, then you tell the mind, okay, go here. It'll actually start walking towards there. Because the trust is there. Yeah? Once the kid trusts you, you look at the kid like this, you say, behave. What does the kid do? Right? Have you seen that? Yeah, you have a pampered child, the mother, father says, behave, then the kid gets even more, what do you call? Huh? Yeah, reacts even more harshly. You tell behave, then it goes exact opposite. It unbehaves even more. You say stay still, then it wants to move all around the place. But when you have built that trust, that relationship, and it knows that you are loving and you're kind and you care about it, and that too genuine, sincerely, and unconditionally, at that point you tell it to behave. Immediate result. So that's of course that's the goal. That's what we want right now, but you're not going to reach it right now like this. This is why I say building the trust, reaching that intermediate state is important, where your mind is calm enough and has that relationship with you. No? I don't. That make sense? Yeah. So through that expression, then comes the development. And within Buddhism, like I said, within Buddhism itself, focusing on enlightenment is, I think, after that point of equanimity, after that state where you have built a strong enough relationship, and your mind is willing to work in the way you tell it to, then you start telling it, okay, now contemplate on this. Then it will truly contemplate. Does it make sense or not? Then through that contemplation, then comes sense, then comes joy in the contemplation, then comes true, what we say, true practice within the path, the tenfold path, the bodhisattva path, the tantric path, so on, so on. This always start after that. Without that trust, you tell it to do this, do this, do that. You good? Yes, question?
No, you answered it already.
Huh?
I had one, but you already answered it.
So, like I said, concentrate. If it comes down to the point where you are working with the mind, then concentrate on on sincerity. Every move you do towards your development, first thing you have to concentrate is, are you sincere or not? And sincerity involves many qualities. This is why I said study the paramita, the 6 paramitas, at least the 6 paramitas. When it comes to the 6 paramitas, we talk about generosity, compassion. This is not just external. Of course, on the Bodhisattva's path is external generosity, compassion towards others. But within the first steps is about generosity to yourself. How generous are you to yourself? Do you beat yourself up when you cannot control your emotions? Do you beat yourself up when you cannot understand your own mind? Or do you force your mind to contemplate on certain things, or to understand certain things, or behave in a certain way? Or is there even a necessary that your mind should behave in a certain way? And if there is, then is that genuine behavior, or is that societal expectation of behavior? There comes generosity. Yeah. Then comes second one comes ethics. When it comes to ethics, then there's a moral way of applying things. There's ethical way of applying means and methods. This is why I say, alcohol is a way to control your mind, but then whether it's ethical or not, there's more harm than benefit, then it's not ethical. Of course, when you drink and when you are in that thing, then the mind seems relaxed, and but whether that's ethical or not, even through scientific, they already brought out researches in regards to the scientific mix when it comes to drugs and tablets and alcohol and all of those things, utilization of nicotine and so on and so forth. The same thing. You look at the brain itself, forget about the mind. Even in the brain, there's deconstruction in the brain. It affects the brain. Neural pathways, what we say, die off. And that's proven that you can go to Google Baba. Google Baba tell you everything there. So it does. You see, even though momentarily there is that satisfaction, whether it's ethical means or not is questionable. Now, love and compassion, that you don't even question whether it's ethical or not. Definitely that's ethical, right? You think about it. Is me being compassionate and love towards my own mind in order for it to develop, is that an ethical way or not? That's the most ethical way. This is why I say the supreme emotion when it comes to compassion and love. I mean, not compassion and love out of expectation, all of that, but genuine, sincere, unconditional love and compassion. That's the most ethical means that you can do anything with. Even giving something, if I'm giving something to you, if I'm giving without expectation, genuine, sincerely, and then without expectation, unconditionally, that's the most amazing way of giving. Generally, when you're giving, then expecting something, receiving something back, wanting more, recognition. That these always lingering somewhere around us. So within yourself also, this is the same application of ethical means. Morality, application of moral means and ethical means. Compassion, genuine, sincere, unconditional compassion towards yourself. That, I think, is the most moral way to work with yourself, most ethical way to work with yourself. Same as with others as well. But like I said, others come later. Once you have groundedness, then comes others. Yeah? Then we have diligence, calmness, acceptance, and understanding. How willing are you to sit there and understand your situation? Mostly, no, not the moment it reacts, then we have no time to sit down and contemplate and understand. Same thing with the child. This is a good example. When the child is having a tantrum, most likely we are, what do we say? Uh, uh, there's no diligence in the you're not the acceptance is not there, the understanding is not there. Then that's when the beating starts to happen. That's when the controlling starts to happen. So there is that as well, no, in regards to diligence, applying to ourselves as well. Then comes the patience. Patience is a key, I think, again. How patient are we with ourselves? Most likely, you sit down and you contemplate on it, and you will start to see how patient you actually are on yourself. Same thing, yeah, you being patient with others, your partner, your mother, your father. How patient are you? Same thing happens there as well. So I think same exact pattern within ourselves as well. The willingness that we give ourselves the time and the necessary, that most likely does not happen. We are so occupied. You look at your 24 hours a day, how many hours you sleep? 8 hours, maybe, 8 hours, 10 hours you sleep. That is rest. That is for the body. You take that out of the equation. Then half of the time you're on the phone scrolling or doing something on the internet or the laptop or something like that. Then you take that out of the picture. Then half of the time you're entertaining others. You're yeah. Then if you have work, then 9 to 5 you are concentrating on the work. You take that out. Then you have your yeah. Most of the time, like I said, even if you are taking shower, then it's the body that you're taking care of. So where is the time in the 24 hours for your mind? Then, like yesterday, we were talking about, even if you say, okay, every 5 minutes I'm going to sit down and concentrate and meditate, are you really giving time to yourself or not? Is that truly giving yourself time? Or is that out of expectation? That's also questionable. So there is all of these different things that we, like I said, there's a lot of self manipulation going on in regards to our mind, trying to create conditions where we say, yes, time for my going to a massage and relaxing, time for myself. And then the necessary to give that also. Not that, like I said, if you are wise enough to utilize it and see that it truly does help the mind relax, coming down to the point where the mind actually starts to trust you and believe you and walk with you, then it's okay. But if it doesn't, then it's questionable. No? So the patience, like I said, the patience give you your what we say time is money nowadays. This is a big thing. Yeah, people always say time is money, time is money. Same thing there as well. Then you're giving all your time towards money. Where's the time for the mind? You go to a party, you get ready for a party. It takes 2 hours for you to get ready for a party. Here, there, all of this. There's so much time you're giving there. Is that for the mind or is that because of the expectations? If you're working with the expectation, then it's questionable whether how much time you're giving to your mind, whether the mind actually wants to do this or is happy doing this or not. It's again questionable. So there are many points in our life. Like I said, every day, every hour, every second, every minute, you start to see that there's less and less time you are giving to truly utilizing compassion, love, care, genuine, sincere, unconditional care towards yourself. Yeah, you're kicking out pictures one step at a time. You kick out the times. You start to see. Then, if you are giving limited time and you're expecting the mind to grow and attain enlightenment, attain joy, that's a huge expectation, no? Especially when you're giving so limited time. And that limited time is linked with conditions. It's not genuine, it's not sincere. Then how are you going to expect to work with it? I think these are important questions that can be contemplated, of course. Yeah, so then comes diligence, yeah, effort. Then within diligence, effort, I think, like I said, there has to be joy. Without joy, even working with yourself without joy is going to be quite a rough experience. Yeah, I want to work with myself. I want to work with my mind. I want to go to therapy. I want to go to meditation. I want to go to retreat because I have to go, because I need to work with my mind, and my mind is going crazy, and I don't understand my mind. And just listen to what I'm saying. Can you hear it? It's like you're taking your mother who has some kind of mental disorder to a hospital where he doesn't want to go. Then how is the betterment going to come? So joy, definitely, in regards to diligence, effort, joy becomes, and then through that joy, only and only through that joy, that effort can become effortless. Yeah, the change between putting effort and effortless is just, I think, mainly through joy. Without the joy, you can't make the effort into effortless. And that's what we want, right? We want effortless joy. We want effortless whenever we're working. The effortless has to be there. When the effortless is there, then it becomes easier. Why do we say, oh, it's so hard, or this is so hard, practice so hard? Because you put so much effort in it and there's no joy, then of course it's going to be hard. Is it hard to spend 2 months of your what is out of 12 months, if you get 2 month holiday? Is it hard for you to spend that 2 months? No. It's effortless. Goes by like this, no? Because joy is involved, therefore effortless. Then even if you have to work 1 month, how hard is it? Is the effortless there? No, so much effort you need to put in. So there you start to see that the diligence, whether it becomes effortless or whether it's through effort. Diligence is diligence, whether you put effort, whether you don't need to put effort. Diligence is diligence. So anyway, joy makes a huge impact in that.
Yeah, but wait. I totally agree. But look, for nowadays, it's really unfair, right? If I'm scrolling here, I'm getting dopamine, so I'm getting a reward really quickly, really fast, and a huge amount. And I do agree, you need to make the practice become joyful, but how? Yeah, because
Sense.
I hear. Yeah, I don't think it's just sense. I think we need to develop more tricks on that.
No, because it doesn't make sense.
No, it makes sense, but it's like exercise. Exercise makes sense. You don't go to the gym because it's easier to stand the sofa scrolling.
Yes, yes.
Exercise makes totally sense rationally.
Yes, yes.
But you get more dopamine and scrolling.
Yeah, so momentary dopamine, momentary, what do we say, momentary unconscious aspect, where your consciousness is not contemplating, doesn't need to contemplate, doesn't need to worry, doesn't need to figure out things. That is scrolling. Where the dopamine comes from, that utilization is completely different. Yeah, exercise makes sense, going to the gym makes sense. But then because there is effort, you take effort, And because the sense you put into that is mere words, there's no application there. This is where the application comes into part now. You tell someone who enjoys exercising, you tell them, oh, dopamine.
But this is a thing. For example, okay, you have people that is already enjoying the exercise, but you have people that is starting. People that do the program of the gym,
That's
they will
effort.
do. Yeah, no, but people doing program for the gym, they will thinking about ways to make that joyful. So they will put music, they will bring you to dance, and they will try to make ways to that thing that is annoying.
Yeah, this is all
become joyful.
external dependence of joy. This is why I said true joy comes from inside. True joy comes from genuine, sincere, unconditional care to yourself. This is where the true joy comes from. That joy is not there, then we depend on music, we depend on that, we depend on the people that come. Today you're my friend, we two go together, you call, hey, are you coming? You say, no, I cannot come today, then I also don't want to go. Dependence of joy on external things. This is why before all of this we say developing internal connection with the mind. This is where true joy comes now. That is necessary.
I agree, but I think it's like exercise. In some point, that joy comes naturally. In the beginning, you need something that makes that start, Makes sense what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, effort.
So in the beginning, you need to do something against.
Yeah,
it's
you
not
need
joyful
to.
in the beginning.
No, you need to put effort.
Yeah.
That's why effort is here. You need to put effort. Effort is there, but effort together with the, like I said, effort combined together with the true understanding of yourself, with your own connection with your own mind, genuine, sincere, unconditional care and love. That one, now in the effort, now the joy starts to arise. Working, if I give you one example, I think we relate to examples very well, right? Let's say you're my mother, right? Then you take care of me, then you love me so much, you care for me, you do this, you do that. Yeah, that is there. So now my trust, my faith in you, my trust in you, my connection to you, completely different. I feel you are genuine, sincere, unconditional to me, right? Now let's say you fall sick, something happened, so now every night I need to come and I need to change and I need to do this, and effort, it takes effort. Does not mean it effortlessly comes, just naturally my body naturally just walks to you and starts to. It doesn't happen like that, right? So you need to put effort. But then while doing the effort, when you actually contemplate on how kind you were to me, how sincere you were to me, how genuine you were to me, how much love you have given me, then with the effort, then comes joy. Does it make sense? Now I'm joyfully doing this, not pushing myself to do this. So this is why the connection of genuine, sincere, unconditional love is important. Effort is necessary. Effort does not mean you don't put effort, and once the joy comes, then everything is like this. Not like that. Effort is necessary, but through the effort, when you see the connection, the genuine, sincere, unconditional love, that connection, then the effort starts to become joyful. And once the effort is joyful, you contemplate on that, then you start to see, oh, even though it does take, the action is still there. This is the effort, is the action. But even that is there, there's no pushing, there's no forcing, there's no need. Today I'm willingly helping you around, arrange this. Then tomorrow you say, oh, you're not a good helper. Now even if I want to come to go tomorrow, then I need to start putting effort, more effort. No, there's no joyful there. So that changes now. Make sense?
Yeah. So
Make
you're
sense?
saying that the joy make the effort less
Effortless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This I get it, okay. But the question is how to make the things become more joyful, and I think just
Connection.
contemplation.
Connection. This is why I said connection between you and your mind is the most essential part there. It's not external joy, like you mentioned, music, that this is joy, yeah, but this depends on external things. And this is, like I said, external joy changes. Even music, you turn on the music, after 10 minutes of the same music, then the joy disappears, and then you are like, I wish the music changed. And this is external joy. This one, like I said, depending on a friend, also external friend, also same thing. Until the moment the friend say, okay, I am also coming, then the joy is there. But the moment the friend say, I cannot come, gone. So it's more like I'm going to gym because of my friend. It's not I'm going to gym because I I see the necessity for me to develop
But
my.
it's a good tool in the beginning.
Huh?
In the beginning, it's a good tool.
Yeah,
Because
it's
if I
good
have the
tool.
commitment
Yeah,
with a
yeah.
friend, it's more difficult that I will give up from that because I'm committed with a friend. If I am just myself, I
It's
can
a
just say today I'm not going.
it's a good tool to start with.
Yeah.
But then the problem is the dependence.
Yeah.
Once you start with it, then it becomes a dependence, and once you dependence on it, then the dependence on the mind starts to your own self starts to disappear, and dependence becomes stronger on the external part. Does that make sense? So once you're dependent on the external part, then you cannot depend here anymore. Then every situation dependent on. You're going to the shopping mall, also shopping mall there. You're going to the restaurant, also restaurant dependent. You see, so that is the difference. When you truly, I give you another example. When you truly enjoy a meal, then you don't need anyone to enjoy the meal. Yeah, when you truly, then even if you go to the restaurant, yeah, let's say I went to a restaurant yesterday and I tried something. Oh, it's so delicious. So good. Then today I want to eat it again. I won't need friends to convince me to go. Then I go. Even sitting alone and eating is more than enough to. I don't. There's no that need this necessary things around. Because now the condition is that I'm enjoying it. Therefore, I want it. Where you depend on external is that I enjoy it, but then wouldn't it start looking weird if I'm there alone in the restaurant sitting there eating? Then I don't, doesn't what do people think that this? Then a friend, if she goes, then I'll go. Now you're starting to put the dependence on external, even though it is enjoying the food. Then you're starting to depend too much on the external things. So like I said, there is, yes, like first time you go and try the food, you go with a friend, that makes sense. So there is effort there. Effort is there. But the true joy in the effort has to come from within. It does not come on dependence, external dependence. And even if it does come external dependence, then it's momentary. The dependence becomes so strong that later the internal joy completely disappears without the external dependence. Then that is more of a problem than a solution. No? Make sense?
Yeah, I think so. I'm reasoning more the other way around, no? Like you have the friends that is going with you to the gym, and then in the beginning it's good because you have a commitment
Yes,
with that
yes, yes.
person, same for the personnel or whatever. But then afterwards, you develop the proper joy in doing the exercise per se. So if your friend goes or not, you already have the joy in that.
There
So
you go.
this was a
Good.
tool until you get the proper joy from
Good,
the
good.
thing per
That
se.
is utilizing wisdom. Yeah? That is utilizing wisdom, not becoming dependent on the friend. Most likeliness, if you don't utilize wisdom, then the dependence starts to grow. That's where wisdom comes in. That's where wisdom is the most useful skill. Good, good.
Yeah, I know do this for the gym. How do I do for the practice, for example? You know, like how to have these tools until you get the joy without effort.
Huh?
In the beginning, you need effort, but for example, in the example of the gym, I'm saying that I can go with my friend, and this gives me a little help. That becomes an external joy, whatever. It's okay until I get the proper joy just from the exercise per se. What would be a proper tool or a skillful mean for the practice, for example?
I didn't
The
get
practice
it.
of meditation.
Could be meditation, could be another practice, but in the beginning you don't have joy there. How do you
So
do?
yeah, I get. So you utilize your friend to get joy into this first, right? Because your friend is there, your joy is there in your friend. So you utilize your friend, the joy with your friend, in order to go into exercise or in order to go into meditation, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So then, okay, that's one part of it. So then now you need to let go of the dependence first of all, because if you don't let go of the dependence of your friend, then like I said, then the meditation or the exercise becomes based on the friend dependence on the friend. The joy is based on the friend. Joy is not dependent on the meditation or not dependent on the exercise. So now you need to let go of the dependence of the friend. Once you have reached that part, then you need to let go of the dependence of the friend. That is definitely there, because once like I said, the more you depend, the more dependable you become, the more, yeah, then this is the other joy in the other part is not going to arise. So first thing, negate what you utilize to get there, then you need to let go of that. Then second thing is seeing why you are. What is the main reason you are here for? Are you here for your friend? If you say yes, I'm here for my friend, then dependable, still there. You're still depending on your friend. Why are you truly here to exercise? Why? Or why are you truly here to meditate? Why? So through that contemplation, then if you start to see genuine, sincere unconditionality in the practice, for my own sake, for my own development, for that, for this, not external reasons, okay, internal reasons. Now that's where the sense part comes up. This is why I said sense. It has to be sensible. The moment is unsensible, then the question of why you're even doing this. Then of course, friend, depending, because my friend, that becomes much more clearer that yes, that's why I'm doing it. I'm doing it for my friend. And this utilization is there definitely, like, for example, in the Bodhisattva path, when it comes to the Bodhisattva path, practicing enlightenment. Why are you practicing enlightenment? For others. So that utilization is there in the practice as well. But when you're working with yourself, then your mind has to come at first, basically. If you leave yourself at the last, then that is complete, what we say. So that level of practice, there's, like I said, depending a lot on each and every stage of each and every person's mental, where they are in their practice, what they are feeling, how they are feeling. This is why I said this morning, practice can not just change from day to day, but from hour to hour also practice can change. And practice most dependable, if you put the practice dependent on external things, then that's when the practice is very unstable. So where does the practice depend on? Depends on the mind, state of the mind. Based on the state of the mind, then you need to learn to utilize. Now this is where wisdom comes in. You use wisdom so that you don't get dependable, you don't get attached, but you're utilizing it in a way that is most sensible. Yeah. So then depend, of course, there. Then after concentration, wisdom. So this is together applied. So all of the 6 parameter together applied. Wisdom needs to be there, and the wisdom is your skillful action, right motive, right, figuring out the right motive and utilizing skillful action or skillful means. That's wisdom. So that would also need to apply. It's not just about one thing and it happens. You need to learn to apply all 6 parameters in the practice, and we do that every day without even realizing. We utilize wisdom every day without realizing. We utilize patience every day without realizing. We utilize what we say discipline. We all utilize what is moral and what is immoral every day in our daily life as well. A flame comes up, I want to spit. Utilization of what's moral, immoral. I want to otherwise, if there is, then I'll be spitting here, I'll be doing, but the utilization is there. What is moral, what is immoral, what is right? So this is always there. It's with you, no matter you like it or don't like it, it is there. But because it is there, it also means that you can utilize it to its full potential. So when wisdom is necessary, you bring in wisdom. When effort is necessary, you bring in effort. When patience is necessary, you bring in patience. This in itself is training. There is no level like, first is this, then comes this, then comes this. This is based on the mind. The mind all over the place. Some people don't need patience. They're very patient in there. They're already patient enough. So for them, they need more utilization of more wisdom. Some people have a lot of wisdom, but then again, like I said, they're very impatient. Then what do you need to utilize? You need to utilize patience. So this changes. There is no exact factor to the application. This changes based on your mind. But knowing that your mind, like I said, fragile, innocent, yet amazing potential. That one, and through that, then developing true, sincere, unconditional care and love towards it, because you truly want it to grow. That genuine, sincere, unconditional love, that's what matters. That one you definitely need to concentrate on how to. And like I said, it's sensible. It makes sense. So when it makes sense, then how much convincing you need yourself to? That one also is a difference. Yes? We getting somewhere? Huh? We getting somewhere?
Hopefully.
Yeah, something like that. What time? Lunchtime?
20 minutes.
20 minutes?
Yeah.
Question? Yes. Good.
Can you send the mic for her?
Good.
Thank you.
We utilize question, answer, talking, a good way of truly understanding things. No? Yeah.
Okay, I really love all of what you had to share about, like, it really makes a lot of sense to me, and about like developing this trust with your mind through like genuine, sincere, unconditional love, kindness, compassion, the 6 paramis. And I feel like that's so much easier said than done. Like in this state, for example, I'm feeling very inspired. My mind is feeling very calm. I feel very loving. It's so easy to just be like, okay, like, to show myself that unconditional love and compassion, sincerity. There are some times where like my mind is honestly like batshit crazy.
Yes.
Sorry, excuse my language, but
Good.
like
Yeah.
it's so hard. I can like actually witness my mind having this like, I don't know, like you talk about the screaming child, but I swear sometimes like my mind can be like worse than anybody's screaming child. Like it can be like a monster. So in those states, like, because it doesn't really feel like my own child. It feels like something I want to rip out of my head. So in those states, how do you come back to, because I feel like in those states it's the most important to actually have
Yes.
that loving kindness and compassion. And it's in those states that I feel like I do the most harm to myself, whether it be the way that I think about myself, the way that I act, the way that I project onto others. So how do you actually apply what you're saying to in those states where you're so far out from a place of that loving, compassionate state to come back to that?
And this is a very natural reaction. Yeah, if a child is screaming and crying here, and I say, "Oh, the child is a monster." No, think about it, right? If you are talking to me and I tell you I call you a monster, then what is your reaction going to be? Yeah, what am I seeing? I'm seeing a monster. I'm not seeing a human being there. Same thing with the child. When I say the child is crying and screaming and doing this, then I say, this monster. What am I seeing? Same thing internal also. When your mind is in all of this trouble and all of these problems and all of this, instead of being loving and kind and saying, yes, it is going through a lot. I should be patient. I should understand. You call it a monster. What do you think will happen? First of all, you're distancing. Like I said, if you start crying here and I call you a monster, then definitely this distance is already happening there. Think about it. So this is where, like I said, the utilization of awareness and awareness of awareness is so important. We just because of the experience, we over over label things. Child screaming, crying is natural. There's no monster there. It's a human being. It's a child. It's crying. It's natural. Especially when it has cut, when he has pain, when it's dealing with something, definitely is even more natural. So when the mind has so much experience, traumatic experience, and is crying and is begging and it's normal. You need to understand that is normal. You need to labelize it normal, not labelize it as a monster. There's a huge difference in that. Just the label part. There's a huge difference, I think. And this is just the label part. Now the second part is after the label, how the feeling is. When you disintegrate something as a monster or something that is sight, or what do you call it, batshit crazy or something like that. when you label it that, you say batshit crazy, that means something you don't want to deal with anymore. You see that? You call it batshit crazy. If I say, okay, she's batshit crazy, that you can already see that I don't want to deal with her. That is already the expression that I'm giving now. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, I agree. I just think that, just to be precise, that maybe you don't say like it's normal, but maybe you label as it is. So maybe, for example, mental affliction is a mental affliction. So you can look for that thing like this is angry. So this is not normal. This is angry. This is a mental affliction. It's anxiety. So you label. So this is not a monster. This is anxiety. This is affliction. This is something. Is a mental state. So you label it, but not as normal, because I mean normal is questionable, but it also can be like normalized things that's not not a virtual state.
If you saying that is not normal, you need to say that a child crying is also not normal, or a child getting angry is not normal. Like I said, look at your mind, because it's innocent. Now you're already putting it into a part where the mind is full of wisdom and full of knowledge and full of that. In that case, then yes, definitely it's not normal. You see a Buddha crying and screaming and shouting, then you can say it's not normal. Right? Even adult is then you can say that's not normal. I know. This is why I say the pattern of utilizing what is normal and what is not normal really differentiates. You look at the you look at the mind, the innocent mind, like I said, very fragile, very innocent. The child crying, what will you say if I ask you, is that normal or not normal? Yeah. When it doesn't get what it wants, then it cries. That's normal. It's so normal that sometimes if the child doesn't cry, then the doctors think there's something wrong with it. They start. Have you ever seen that? Once the child is born, if it does not cry, then the doctor rubs his bum and hits it like this. See if there's a reaction or not. So like I said, definitely this depends on you, what you want to normalize, what is normal, what is not normal. But from my perspective, what I see is if you think of yourself as a Buddha or something, amazing wisdom, knowledge, not from the innocent, fragile side, then definitely that's not normal. This is why I use the word child. Look at your mind like your own child. If you look at your mind like your own child, then definitely I see, emotions coming up like this is kind of normal. But if you see your child as a grown up, as someone mature, someone who has tons of wisdom and ability and all of that, then you start doing these things, then I think that's not normal. Yeah, this is what we say when you're already grown up. Why you acting like a child, as we say. So the actions of a child, normal. But then when he's grown up, then the actions of the child, the grown up doing the actions of the child, that's not normal. So anyway, this is totally up to you how you want to. Maybe if you don't want to use the word normal, you don't have to. But this is how I think, in the concept of innocence. Like I said, it's not just innocent and fragile. This is one part of it, but unlimited potential. Now this is the other part of it. Even though innocent and fragile, unlimited potential, clear and knowing the Buddha nature within it. So when it's innocent in that one, from that part, yes, definitely that's normal. But then it needs to grow, and once it grows up, utilizing the what we say unlimited potential, the Buddha nature, now then you can start to say, okay, now, yeah, I've come out of, I worked with it, now I'm reaching the Buddha nature, I'm in more wisdom, more knowledge. Yeah, now you can say, not normal. So practice wise, like I said at the beginning, you need to normalize it. Once you've grown up, it's same thing, child. Yeah, when it's small and it's crying, you normalize it. But once it starts to grow up and it keeps on doing it, then you start to say, okay, now it's not normal. You have grown up already. You already wisdom there, knowledge there. You should apply. You should learn. You should apply, work. So there's a little bit of a difference, I think. So at the beginning level, that's what I would say. But then, like I said, personal practice matter, personal level matter, personal mind also matter. And then if it feels like it hurts to say that it's normal, then definitely don't say it's normal. So that is there. Make sense? Make sense? I don't know.
No, makes sense, but because you can say that a mental affliction is normal, right? A mental affliction
I
is
would
normal.
say it's normal.
Yeah.
I would say it's normal.
Yeah, but then
But it's
it
right
is.
way or not, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Normal doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah.
That's also a difference, So I think I would say it's normal, but then if you ask me, is it right because it's normal, then I'll say, well, normal doesn't need to be right. It's normal, but then you can do better. You can change. You can grow up. You can mature, as we say. So there's that one. I think a little bit difference. I don't know.
What's about the wrathful deities? We have the deity who's angry also side. Where I put this in the whole concept.
Deity, this one.
There are a lot of angry deities.
Yeah. Wrathful appearance. Yeah. So in this one, I think it has to do a little bit more in regards to utilization of what we say, utilization of skills. Yeah. So whether so we say, for example, knife, right? In the olden, or not in the knife, is just a knife. How you utilize it makes a huge difference, right? I can utilize it to kill. I can use it like to cook food or chop food. So the same thing is in regards to expression, in regards to all of that. This utilization is there. So that is there, but then within the practice, also in the lineage practices, then application, especially in tantra, then when it comes to non-dual appearance, and when it comes to non-dual appearance, practice of non-dual, I mean, better not go too deep into it, but then within that then comes you do not separate between kindness and anger. You do not separate between good and bad. You do not separate between tasty and disgusting. There's this non-dual aspects of practices that they're a little bit.
And that's the most part.
Yes,
of it.
yes,
Yeah,
that comes
I
there.
see.
But that one, don't worry. I don't think too much need to contemplate, unless if you are a lineage practitioner and you are into, you have studied, like I said, even in Tantra, these are mostly Tantra, tantric means, right? Tantric means to practice. So even in that, I always say the requirements in regards to your understanding, level of understanding in renunciation, bodhicitta, and the view of emptiness, it has to be very clear just to enter the tantric path. So without that, then it can be a little bit too harsh or too what we say, unnatural.
Happiness has no path. Happiness is the path. How to get there?
If what?
Happiness has no path. Happiness is the path.
If happiness has no path
Happiness is the path.
and
Buddha
happiness
says
is the
something.
path, then how do you get there? If happiness has no path,
Happiness is the path. I heard something like that.
huh?
Buddha.
I don't know how to make sense of that. Happiness has no path, but happiness is the path. I think it's about embracing the nature of it. No, this is where we define when we say something has something, like when you say I have a hand, I have a leg, I have that, I have this, then you are separating yourself from everything else. Does that make sense? Right? You say, like, I have a car, I have this, I have family, I have that. Then you're separating yourself, like, in the sense that it's not one. There's no oneness there. So if you say like happiness has a path, then in regards to that, then it's like, okay, in order to achieve happiness, then there's different means and different ways and different methods. When in reality, happiness is the nature itself of the path. I don't know if that something like that, then maybe you can make some sense out of it, because mostly in regards to the nature of the mind, this is what it talks about. It talks about the nature of the mind is clear and knowing. There's no path to reaching clear or knowing, that sort of thing. It's just the nature of the mind itself. There's no searching, no seeking, no all of that there.
Oh Lord.
But then the negating part, or the aspect of what has deluded the mind, negating part, that is more of the path. But then utilizing within the path is the clear and understanding. How do you achieve enlightenment without utilizing the mind? Yeah, how do you achieve clear and knowing without utilizing clear and knowing? How do you achieve it without utilizing clear and knowing? So maybe something makes sense. I don't know how to put it out, but yeah, we talked about the mind definition of the mind, clear and knowing. And this is true nature of the mind. This is where we are reaching. This is what we are reaching for: enlightenment, clear and knowing. The aspect, the clear light aspect is that it is, like the sky, not contaminated by these clouds and not contaminated by all these momentary afflictions and so on and so forth. Just the nature of it is there. But then to reach that nature of it, you need to negate all the grasping attitude. You need to negate with all the what is destructive emotions. You need to work with all of those. But then without clear knowing, how are you going to do that? So maybe something like that, I think. Yeah, to achieve there, you need to utilize it itself. Yeah, happiness itself, like I said, joy itself is the way to reach there. Are you differentiating all of that? Then it gets a little bit hard, I think. I don't know, something like that. Lunchtime?
I have an online comment, and then we could
Okay,
do the
okay.
break time. I will read for you. It's a comment of Felicity. She's saying that I am very moved by the idea of treating the mind as a child. It feels like you are saying then that the afflictions are the root of our compassion. Is a question, kind of. So, and she's finishing like we create space for them by seeing the mind as fragile in relation to them. But the question is a little bit like if you are saying that afflictions is like the root of our compassion.
Yeah, samsara is the root of our compassion. Samsara is affliction, and samsara is the root for our compassion. Without samsara, how are you going to be compassionate? And this is why Lama Zopa Rinpoche is Lama Zopa, my teacher. I kept saying Lama Zopa, your enemies are your greatest gurus because they give you the opportunity to practice. Exactly what she's saying. The afflictions, we look at them, but because of this, then we want to get better. We want to strive to, become better. We want to strive to negate them. So that way you can, it's one way of looking at it, and definitely within the Bodhisattva practice, this is a huge thing. Look at your enemy like your guru. Yeah, treating your enemies. This is all. This one comes in regards to the what we say, to the emerging of a guru and enemy together. This comes in the emerging of compassion and enemy together. This comes to the emerging of why samsara. So Rinpoche always, when someone says, enemy, my enemy, this, that, then Rinpoche says, oh, very kind. No, he does do that. He does say that. And you know that, I think. Yeah. And if you have met Sopa Rinpoche, Lama Sopa Rinpoche, you will know that. So selfless, complete. And the way he sees things, and joy is everlasting. Ever present in his teachings, in his ways, in his method, is constant joy. And it comes through this ability to really regard and see things from this angle, which we cannot very hard to, right? So that is, I think, definitely one way of practicing, definitely comes through that as well, is in regards to seeing that, yes, without, yeah. Did you say something?
No, she needed another question, but you
Okay.
can finish.
Yeah,
please.
okay.
Yeah?
No, that's
Enough. No, because she's saying that there is this concept of inner child, and that is from the Western psychology, and she's asking if this is comparable with the mind seen as a child, and she asked you please explain.
I don't know what the inner child is. What?
I don't think it's this.
Not the same? I don't know.
I don't think it's a.
I never studied the inner child concept.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I feel like the way you describe it is very similar to the inner child like concept in psychology. So like essentially we all as adult selves, if for example, especially if our child when we were a child, we had quite a lot of trauma, or our parents might not have shown us that sincere, unconditional love and kindness and compassion. If there are certain wounds that our child or traumas that our child acquired that weren't really addressed, we just kind of repressed those and shoved them in some compartment in the back of our mind. Then later on as an adult, there may be aspects of our wounded child that come and act out in different mental afflictions, in different forms, in different ways that we project our child. So it could seem like, there are times where I might literally have what is like a tantrum, like my inner child is having a tantrum in my present adult body, because there's like an or an unmet need, or a wound that still hasn't been healed. So then there's this method of like reparenting your inner child by essentially looking at this wounded part of yourself as the child, which is kind of like how you're saying to treat our mind and to parent to parent them as we would have.
So I think, yeah, I think I understand. Inner child is to do with experience, whereas I think when we say treat your mind like, when I say treat your mind like your own child, this is to do with the reality of the mind, and not to do with the past experience, not to do with just the nature of the mind itself. So how it is right now, not about how it felt and how it went and how it is and how the, yeah. Then if you put on that side how it felt and how it was and how the experience, then it's about the past, right? But what I'm talking about is, I'm talking about right now. Yeah, it's still innocent. Whether you're a small body, whether you're a big body, whether you're old, whether you're young, does not matter. The mind is still innocent. Fragile, still fragile. Whether you're old, whether you're small, whether you're big, does not matter. This is the reality of the mind right now. Then full of potential, amazing potential. That also is still there. Whether you're old, whether you're small, whether you're young, whether you're middle age, does not matter. So what I'm focusing on the reality of the mind that is right now, and then working with it. Whereas from what I got from out of you in regards to inner child, I think it has to do with how your experience of your child and you being that person as an experience of the child, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's that. And on top of that, you are talking about the whole mind, so the whole thing.
Yes, yes.
And there you are talking about one part of the thing, so the traumatic part of the childhood. And here he's talking about it as it is, the whole thing today, you treat as if was a child. I think we can go for lunch break and then come back.
Okay.
Good, thank you, Felicity.
Oh, we continue with the discussion after lunch. It's good.